Yes, it's about that time again. That's right, the start of the new semester. In a time where lots of things seem to be out of our control, I figured why not make a video on something that you can control, and that's preparing for the new semester or the new school year. So I figured I'd make a video on the few steps that I take to prepare for the new semester or the new year. But before I get into the video, I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm giving a rundown on how I get ready for the semester, and these are the methods that work for me. And if these methods aren't helpful to you in any way, that's totally fine. Just remember that, you know, whatever you do, make sure it works for you, ultimately. First things first, before the school year starts or the new semester starts, you want to make sure that you have all your supplies. I understand why lots of people may not get their supplies or aren't really in a rush to get their supplies, especially college students. I mean, some professors don't really require you to use every supply or book that they ask you to get. So that's one reason why I understand. Also, lots of people like to switch their classes, swap them and drop them for other classes, and they don't want to be completely settled in one class. Me personally, I just like to make sure that I have all my supplies and all my books ahead of time. And when I choose classes, I make sure that I'm interested in the topic first and foremost. If it's something that I'm very interested in doing, it'll motivate me to work on it. And yeah, with that mindset, I know 99% of the time that I probably will not drop that class. I have never dropped a class. Even classes that I had struggled with, I wanted to see it through, honestly. I mean, you can always retake classes as well, but me personally, I don't want to go through all that trouble and preparing for the new semester or for a class in the steps that I'm going to show you today, and risk also being behind in a class. At my school, they give us a week to, you know, swap and drop classes, and most likely if I do that, then I'm going to have to do all this work all over again that I'm going to show you in the video, and also be maybe a week behind, depending on if the professor, you know, likes to start teaching on day one. It's a lot of work, and honestly, I'm too lazy. I can't. In terms of supplies, I am a huge advocate on just getting what the professors tell you to get in terms of like the editions of certain books, for example. Unless the professor states otherwise. Usually when a professor tells you to get a certain edition of a certain book, it could be because of the fact that it's more updated and has a lot more information that's up to date that you will learn and take in, and honestly, it'll affect you in the long run. Like, you'll be tested on this stuff if you think about it. You're gonna be quizzed on this stuff. You're gonna be tested on this stuff. You're gonna be doing assignments on this stuff. So in order for you to retain it, you want to be able to retain all the information, all the updated information that's being given to you. But like I said, unless the professor says that you can get another edition of the book, it's totally fine. I also understand why people want to get maybe other editions rather than the requested edition that a teacher advises you to get. It's a lot cheaper. Sometimes they can tell you to get like the latest edition of a certain book, and it can be way more expensive than another edition. But just make sure to just ask your professor, ask your teachers, and or if they state otherwise, then you're in the clear. You can do that. In the next step, I like to print out syllabi that the professors give me. This usually doesn't happen maybe until a couple of days before classes start, or a week or so before classes start. But I like to print out my syllabi and or download it on my laptop. I like to refer to these, especially throughout the semester when it comes to certain assignments and when certain things are due. I just like to keep a hard copy of it, me personally, because I like the feel of things. I like to touch it. I like to see it. It helps me retain certain things, and I don't know, it makes me feel more comfortable than just having it on a laptop. That's just me personally. But also, God forbid, if I were to lose a syllabus, I still have the PDF or the Word document or whatever, in what format they send it to you, on my laptop so I can refer to it, just so I can look at different aspects that I want to go back and look up. Usually after I print out my syllabi or syllabus, I like to, well, here's just an example of a syllabus that I printed out, just one of them. I don't have them for all my classes. But I like to read them over. I also like to highlight important information that I need to remember or I think I should remember in terms of the class. Like right here, I highlighted different things because I'm gonna have a lot of my classes, actually all of my classes online this semester, and I actually have a few classes where I have online textbooks, and I'm just highlighting the process on how to get those textbooks, how to get those access codes, and how to purchase it, and this, that, and the third. Another thing that I like to highlight and like to note is the assignments that they're gonna give and the percentages or the points that you're gonna get from each of these assignments, like this. For this class, this geography class I'm taking this semester, chapter quizzes are 30 points. See, on this syllabus, my professor told me that I have 5 of these chapter quizzes, and they're gonna be 30 points each, which is gonna be 25% of my grade. These actually hold the most weight in terms of my grade, so I definitely want to keep that in mind, that for chapter quizzes I definitely want to make sure that I do my best, I study, and I make sure that I'm prepared for those assignments. I also like to look at the grading policies and the grading scales. This is also something important to me that I make sure that I keep in mind. Not every teacher or every professor grades on the same scale. Yeah, so just in case you are, God forbid, you're in a circumstance where you need to get a certain grade on maybe a test or midterm or a final to get a certain grade, say that you need maybe like a B+, then just remember that you need to get at least an 87 or 89 or higher. That's just an example based off of this scale that my professor gave us for this class. In terms of the things I just listed, I like to also have a journal or a planner to put all of these notes in. I have a planner right here. Honestly, you can get a planner anywhere. You can get it from like the dollar store, Ross, Marshalls, Target, Walmart. You can literally get them anywhere. And if you want a really nice one, honestly, some of them cost like an arm and a leg to get just because they look nice. I'm just like, I just need to put my stuff in something. I don't need that. I don't need that. But yeah, you literally can get it anywhere. But I like to put different notes in my journals. I like to just get my journals ahead of time, but also put different notes in there, like my professor's emails, their online office hours, since like I said, I'm going to be taking my classes online, just in case I have questions, to just ask them something. I have a certain time frame in which to do that. I have to remember they're still people, they have lives, they have things to do. I can't inconvenience them. And I also took note of like the grading scales and the assignments and how much they're worth. I put them in here, just so you know, just so I can see it. Seeing things just helps me to retain a lot of stuff, and having like materialistic things that I can touch definitely helps me to remember things, and you know. Now next, when you save your syllabi or print out your syllabi, I definitely advise you don't have to take note on grading scales if you don't think that's important, or percentages or anything like that, but I would definitely suggest you get a planner, get an app, use your calendar app, or get Google Calendar, anything that helps you to just plan out stuff and put down reminders to just remind you when certain assignments are going to be due. Professors, most of them, a lot of them like to give you just a rundown of all the assignments that you're going to do and when they're due. Not all of them do, but whenever you get that information from the professors, I definitely think it's best to just put it in your calendar. I use Google Calendar. Get it in your calendar, and you know, you have to remember that you're going to be taking multiple classes, so you realistically you may forget an assignment that's coming up. So it never hurts to just have an alert to remind you and be like, hey, okay, let me get ready to work on that. This is due in a few days. Let me get started on that. And also put it in your planner as well. This is also another thing that I like to do in regards to the classes I'm taking in my schedule. But I like to just think about the time slots that I have throughout my days, where I can spend, you know, time just working on different assignments, doing homework, and things like that. And the last thing that I do usually when I am getting ready for the new semester, I like to get my body accustomed to my new schedule. Like I said before, I'm not a morning person. Because of certain circumstances with my classes and how I had to change it up, I ended up choosing an 8 a.m. class, but it's a very important class that I have to take. It's one of my major courses. So I had no choice, honestly. But I mean, that's what happens. You have to make sacrifices. You have to do things. You got to do what you have to do. But this semester, I am getting my body accustomed to a point where I have to get up, but I don't feel drained or I'm not dragging myself out of bed, because I want to be alert. I want to make sure that I know what's happening in class and I'm not zoning out in any way. So I like to do it about a week before classes start, and I would give myself a certain time, and then day by day I would gradually take maybe 15 or 30 minutes out. Say one day I would wake up at 10 a.m. one day. The next day I'll wake up at 9:30, and then the day after that 9 o'clock, 8:30, 8, and to a point where I have a permanent alarm. So when the school year starts, I'll be waking up or when the semester starts, I'll be waking up at 7:30, 7:45, giving me time to like freshen up, eat some breakfast, and then I'll be good by the time classes start. Also, I think this is important because especially when the semester starts, you're going to be getting lots of information from these professors that you need to remember for the rest of the semester, which is over a span of like a few months. So you want to make sure that you're alert, you want to make sure that you're up and awake and you're being able to retain this information. But yeah, that is about it. Those are the main things that I usually do in preparation for me getting ready for a new semester. You really can't do much. I mean, you have to wait till the semester starts. All my other preparations, that's what I do maybe the night before. Say if I were to be going on campus. There is another tip though. I mean, I think this is just common knowledge and common sense, but common sense isn't that common. But if you're gonna be on campus and say this is your first time, or you're just unfamiliar where certain buildings are, you're gonna take a class in a certain building that you've never gone to, I would definitely advise like a day before, or if depending on whenever you have time, just before classes start, before the first day of classes, map out where you need to go. Map out where how long it needs to take you to go to A to B from one class to the next class, just so you're on top of things. I mean, you have time to get ready for this. Like I said in the beginning of the video, in this time of this uncertainty, let's get back control of things that we have control over, which is, you know, being able to be prepared for classes and getting there on time and being, you know, alert. It's really not that hard. Well, that's about it. That's all that I do really to prepare myself for the new semester, and I hope these tips helped you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Like, subscribe, and comment if you want, and I will see you later.